Good morning, all. We are only, oh goodness, what is it, five days or so away from the process date for our first round of chickens. And I got to thinking that we've shared some video clips, but haven't shown a whole lot of our actual process. So anybody who has already been exposed to any kind of regenerative farming or pasture raised poultry or that sort of thing will have seen chicken tractors and seen how they move across the pasture, and after seeing our videos probably has an inkling that we're doing things the hard way. So we knew that this would be flying by the seat of our pants a bit, as I've mentioned before, and we have a list of improvements and efficiencies that we plan to make. We already know what needs to happen. Half the stuff we already have the supplies for, but what we don't have is the time. So we've been just tackling the very next fire that needs to be put out, each step of this process with this first round of chickens, and knowing all the while that when we get to the off season, we'll have time to implement all these things that will make the next round or next season so much easier. So first, I want to share our routine, how we do the feed and water here, and it'll be laughable. In the morning when we come out to feed and water chickens, we start with the water hose. And Ethan here is my right-hand man.
Sir.
This is our high-tech chicken watering system at the moment. So we start filling up the ice chest. We fill up another bucket, a white one in there, and usually while that's filling, somebody runs to the shed and grabs a bag of feed there. Now this feed is the stuff that we've mentioned is locally ground and mixed, and it's all non-GMO. Good stuff. We make a drive out to an area where there's an Amish community, and it's not only a pleasant trip out, but they make absolutely wonderful feed. So yeah, we'll jump back in a little bit further in the process. All right, so this is the current ridiculousness of our water system. So we try to keep it as smooth as possible heading out to the field, and we watch it splash around, but we still get enough to water the chickens. Again, clearly room for improvement. Most of the time, these chicken tractors have some sort of wheeled apparatus on the back, which ours does not have, and there will be a rope attached to the front so that one person can come out, grab hold of the rope, give a little lift on the front of the chicken tractor, and the whole structure pulls forward with minimal effort on the wheels in the back. As you've seen in our previous video clips, we are moving them with dollies. I jokingly refer to this as playing dueling dollies, and it works. It is not effortless. We will have some sort of a wheeled structure and pull rope on these things before our next season. So we've gotten through. Everything we've been doing has been getting through, and it's worked. All right, so our first bucket gets dumped, and then comes the very fancy process of refilling. There we go. All right, now we start filling feed troughs while our amazing farm ice chest does the work for us. We've got some big IBC totes that will be put out here in the pasture, and a farm hose, and it'll be up on cinder blocks, providing gravity fed pressure. Next round is gonna be a whole lot smoother, but this is where we start. You gotta start somewhere, right? This is a perfect example of all the things that can keep us from starting something because it's not right. You know, it's not perfect. We know how we want this to work. We know how it would be better. We, as I mentioned, even have all the supplies that we need. It's just having the time. So we're short one important resource there, but we're moving forward. I've had times in my life where, because everything wasn't right, I didn't move at all. So we're trying to push through the discomfort and the hardship and a little bit of the imposter syndrome, feeling like you don't have it all together. So who am I to be doing this? But it's part of it. It's part of the adventure. We're learning every day through it, and it's worth it. It's worth starting, and it's not going to stay this way. So it's worth doing. So Ethan's getting our feeders filled. This is yet another example of efficiencies that need to be made here. So we've got, what is that, a 12-foot section? Maybe, no, 10-foot, sorry, 10-foot section of PVC cut in half, and that makes a couple of troughs for each of these. However, if you've been around YouTube very much, you've seen other people who have similar apparatus suspended from the top of the chicken tractor. That allows the whole trough to move with the tractor when you move the chickens. We don't have that convenience. So at the moment, we come out, we fling the door open, we rush in through the throng of chickens, and we remove the trough, fill the trough, and then put it back in. Putting it back in is not a great big deal because they want the feed that's in it. But getting it out when there's no feed in there to keep them in is certainly a challenge. So again, another item on the list for upgrades. Well, I am melting some, so I'm gonna get out of the sun, head back up to the house to do some other things, but you have an idea of some of the fun we've been having. So I would encourage you, just start where you're at. I mean, we're trying to do the whole bloom where you're planted bit. This wasn't exactly as we planned it, not as we would have dreamed it, but it's a start. And so start where you're at, even if that's dollies and ice chests. So it gets you somewhere. It's a start. It's better than sitting around wondering what it would have been like had you actually done something. So my encouragement, get after it. So it's worth doing, and it adds to the learning and the fun, and I think the reward will be all the better for it. So anyway, there you go. Have a good one.